Hello, and welcome back to the podcast Ease to Clarity. And I am your host, Dr. Divi. Thank you so much for being with me. I recently taken a break and I'm super excited to be back. So thank you for listening to my first episode back. It's great to have you. It's great to be part of this community. And I feel blessed and honored that you're spending some time with me. So thank you. Today, I'm going to jump into a topic that's actually a three-part series. And this topic is about surviving family time and holiday time, but mostly family time. So this series, there's going to be three parts, is meant to support you anytime you're visiting family or feeling triggered, maybe Mother's Day, birthdays, anniversaries, any of those emotional hotspots, this series will help you. As we begin, I would love it if you could close your eyes if you're not driving. And regardless of what you're doing, take a deep breath in and take a slow breath out. Regardless of what you're doing, let's spend a moment right now being present. The simple pause that you're taking with me tells your nervous system, I am safe right now. Beautiful. Thank you. I also start all my podcasts by sharing with you what's going on in my world. You may or may not know, but I have an 11-week-old black lab at the time this is being recorded, and he now has the apple of my eye. His name is JJ Jr. I also do a lot on this free platform called School, Skool. You can find the link on my website. I teach classes regularly there through the month of December, which is hopefully when you're going to be listening to this. I'll be hosting a number of workshops that are completely complimentary on something called the Inner Temple. I also have an in-person hour and a half workshop here in Vancouver if you'd like to join me on December 11th. And in addition, I've got group coaching containers on entrepreneurship and relationships and health. Each of those groups have one, maybe two spots available, but those are the bang. So that's a bit about what I'm up to. Let's jump back into the podcast. So this season for most of us is full of old memories. We might have expectations, we might have worries, we might have excitement, and everything in between. It's also a time when emotional triggers are really amplified, despite the deep desire that we have for peace and ease and freedom and joy. Personally, I used to dread this season. I would stay busy. I would work extra hours. I did anything I could to avoid the feelings. I would often count the days down until January 2nd and then pretend like the holidays never actually even happened. And I'd repeat the same thing the year following. Thing is, it wasn't just holidays that activated me. Things like Mother's Day, birthdays, anniversaries, anything involving family, even sometimes phone calls and texts, they'd bring up the same emotions. Healing these family wounds that I have didn't heal overnight, but it came through consistent, emotional, mental, and spiritual work. And that's what I'm going to help you out with in these three podcasts. This is going to help you face your triggers instead of running from them so that they can be transformed and alchemized. If we don't do that, if we don't actually alchemize these wounds, then they stay in our system emotionally, physically, and energetically. So let's begin. Let's first talk about the neuroscience behind what's happening. Family gatherings activate old neural pathways. Our nervous system stores emotional memories in the body, especially those from childhood. When you return to the environment or hang out with the people you grew up with, your brain automatically scans for danger in the way you did when you were younger. We call this the fight, flight, freeze, fawn response. We've all heard of this. The fight is irritation, we get defenses, we snap back. Flight, we leave early, we stay busy, we scroll through the holidays. Freeze, we shut down, we go numb. Or we fawn and people please, we over-accommodate, we be the good one. These reactions, they're not flaws. They're old survival programming mechanisms. They're stored in a part of the brain called the amygdala and in the nervous system. Your adult self might be 30 years old, 40, 50, 70. But when you walk through those parents' doors, your nervous system can snap back to the emotional age of the original wound. It's normal. It's biology. And that is why the holidays often feel so intense. You're not overreacting. You're not pretending. You're not lying. Your system is replaying what it learned long, long ago. So let's go through some steps on how to shift this. So remember, we're going to do some steps today, more steps next week, and even more steps the following week. So the first step I want you to do for these holidays, because the holidays, birthdays, reunion, they can really trigger us. Not because something's wrong, but because inside those hurts are being brought to the light and we're ready. You can travel the world, you can meditate for hours, you can go to every workshop in the world. But if you don't face what's inside your nervous system, it's going to follow you. Sometimes, depending on the stage of your journey, the first stage might look like this. You communicate less. You might even skip the holidays. You might limit contact. You might even temporarily block people because you need space. And this is not failure. I want to say that 1,000 times. This isn't wrong or failure. This is your nervous system saying, I need safety first. But it is also important to understand that this is simply a stage, not a final destination. Space gives you room in the head to process some of those emotions and to get to the roots until you can heal them. The problem is if you stay stuck in the block stage of avoiding, totally get this. What's going to happen is you're going to actually have those patterns resurface. I've seen this thousands of times. It'll resurface in other people in the external world. Maybe it'll be a partner or a boss or a coworker or a friend. It can even show up as a sickness. The reason it is because our nervous system is still harboring that energy. And so it goes out into the universe and it draws to itself that same pain in the way of a different person. So if you're in that phase where you are needing that space, go ahead and block, take a break, whatever you need to do. But no, it's a phase. Now let's say you've moved to that phase and you're ready for step 2. Step 2, you can do step 2 at the same time you do step 1. You can actually do all these things at the same time you're doing step 1. But as you get to the later stages, you'll need to reinteract, but let's leave that alone. Step 2, journal. Journaling will give you access to the childhood imprints. So let's pull out our journal right now. This season, maybe you buy a new one. This season is the perfect time to write honestly what you're actually feeling. Your memories may be blurry because you may not remember the story, but your body actually remembers everything through sensation, emotion, and a reaction. It's why you walk in your house and you feel a wall up in your stomach. So let's talk about some of the most common unprocessed emotions from childhood. Fear, anxiety, shame, worry, sadness, disgust, betrayal, rage, worry, depression. All of these and more are really, really common unprocessed ones. The reason they're unprocessed is because as a child, you couldn't process them. It's really simple. The neural pathways, neuroscience of your body and brain when you're younger cannot do that work. Typically, you have to be over the age of 20 to 30, somewhere in that age group, 20, 25, and you're ready to start processing. You probably, when I went through that list, shame, fear, anger, and so on, your body might have felt something. We actually don't even want to talk about those emotions. We don't even want to feel them because they're sticky, they're icky, they're uncomfortable. But here's the deal. If you don't feel them, you can't heal them. They'll just keep showing up in your nervous system. And if we avoid it because we don't want to feel it, it'll never go away. So feeling is the first thing. So you're probably wondering, okay, Dr. Divi, why do I have to journal? Just by beginning to journal, you start to rewire your brain. When you journal, something really, really profound happens. You're bringing the emotions out of the limbic system, or the emotional part of your brain, into the prefrontal cortex. That's the prefrontal cortex is the reassuring, the regulating part of the brain, which can work with it. If it's just stuck in the limbic system, you can't work with it. So just journaling will bring it from the limbic system forward. So instantly when you start bringing it forward, you're going to feel activated, but pretty quickly it calms the nervous system. You stop feeling so reactive. And it gives you a little bit of inner space that you didn't have before. So journaling is not just writing. It's literally changing where the emotions live inside of your brain. And as you start to journal, you're going to start to uncover other patterns. So because we have all these patterns from fear and anger and so on and so forth that we discussed, as you bring them out, you're going to start to develop, hey, you know what? I'm not as controlling. I'm not as people pleasing. I'm not as perfectionist. I'm not as obsessive compulsive, amongst other things. Those patterns I just mentioned, amongst others, control, people pleasing, and perfectionism, they're often traits that we pick up as a result of the shame, fear, and unpredictability in your childhood. Got it? So if you grew up feeling unsafe and unseen, your brain learned how to protect you. So control was a way of stopping the chaos. Perfectionism was a way of avoiding criticism. People pleasing is most likely a way of staying safe and finding peace. Shutting down was a way of dealing with overwhelm. So these adaptations of these ways of being are intelligent, and they were what you needed to do as a child. But as an adult, they're probably driving you crazy, and you may not know that underneath them is all of those emotions we just talked about. Okay? So again, you're not fixing anything, but you're accessing emotions that are stored in your body. I always say the mind cannot heal the mind. We cannot outthink our survival patterns, but we have to see what's underneath them. And the deeper emotions like shame, fear, abandonment, anger, rage, they're stored in your amygdala, and they are a threat detection center. So if you're not willing to go back and touch the feeling, every time you go home, you're going to shut down, you're getting angry, you're not going to be able to work through it. So again, journaling will bring forward those emotional imprints that the amygdala is holding onto so that you can start to feel it, release it, and heal it. In the next 2 podcasts, I'll be going deeper into this. So again, your homework this week, again, if you have to avoid them, it might be that season for you right now. If you have to shut down, if you have to block them, it might be that season, and that's perfectly fine. But your most important thing is to journal. I want to add 1 or 2 more things. Holidays feel super intense for us sensitives. And a lot of times we feel it in our bodies. We're about to get on the plane. We feel our chest tightening. We feel dread. We feel anxiety. We feel irritable. We might be drinking alcohol more. Regardless of and we do the alcohol, we do the scrolling like mad people because we're avoiding the emotions. Again, journaling is your best bet right now because you're naming the truth. Okay. So as we wind down, thank you. You're probably like me and want to help the world with all this pain. So thank you so much for listening to my first podcast back, which is going to help you to heal those family wounds, whether it be this holiday season or Mother's Day. Let's turn this on. So if you're like me, you want to help the world from their pain. You look at people around you like, oh, if you only knew. So let's spread the word together. Here's what I'm going to ask of you to help me out. Depending on where you're watching this, on YouTube or on a podcast channel like Spotify, like this podcast, share this podcast with a friend, subscribe to my podcast channel or YouTube channel, and write a review. All 4 of those things, liking it, sharing it, subscribing, and writing a review, that apparently helps the podcast and the YouTube to bring it up, and that way we can spread it to more people. Next week, we're going to dive into deeper. Once you've accessed those emotions, now what do you do? I'm sending you so much love as we get ready for the holiday season. Have a beautiful day.